Welcome back to another Moto Talk. Today we're going to be talking about Jett Lawrence, and is he cocky? Is he over the top? I don't know. This next clip that we're about to see kind of sets a little bit of a tone, in my opinion.
Jett Lawrence has finally showed up to a race.
I mean, hey, let me just refer to myself in the third person about showing up to a race and putting it down and silent. You know what I'm saying? If anybody has the ability to say if some of the things he's saying is probably him after going undefeated in the Outdoor Nationals in 2023. I mean, it's kind of crazy. His debut on a 450, he does that. So he's got the grit, he's got the background for it, but his cockiness is really interesting in my opinion. And then this next clip kind of shot me off too. Like, if you didn't, I don't know, man. You know, silence the haters. Y'all don't have anything to say. I felt like, man, the kid is on a high. Like, when he rides well, he rides very well. Like, there's no doubt about it. But we can't forget those two mud races where that kid just looked like he was off balance and didn't know what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like, he had some rough times at San Francisco and San Diego because the tracks were a little bit wet. But I guess, like, the real question is he really cocky? I mean, I have a hard time saying he's cocky. I think he's talented and he knows it. But I think he has a good personality. I honestly do. I mean, the donuts thing, the things they do for the fans, the attitude that he shows, you know, he apologizes. So he gets out of pocket, but he'll humble himself. Like, we know the whole, Jett and Anderson debacle was pretty saucy. And, I kind of enjoyed the sauce that came from that, to be honest with you guys. Now, like, of course, this is kind of put in the dirt. This isn't even a big thing anymore. But I feel like, when we're talking about is Jett Lawrence cocky or is he a crybaby? By a lot of people's standard. A lot of people want to call him a crybaby because of this scene here. But I guess, like, if I'm not in that position, but if I was, and I probably would be upset. I mean, he just came off a terrible weekend beforehand because of the mud. And then he couldn't get around Jason Anderson. He felt like Jason Anderson cross-jumped him and all this other crud. And by the end of the race, homeboy was so frustrated, he made a scene about it. I mean, he went back, he apologized, he said he was sorry, he offered to pay fines and all this other doodad stuff. But, like, to me, and now that could have been a Honda PR thing to make sure they calmed it down. But I don't know. I've not met Jett in person. And if you've met Jett, let me know. What's your interaction with Jett Lawrence actually been like? Because from what you see, what they say, what they speak about, he seems like a pretty solid kid at the end of the day. Yo, let's be honest, though. That A2 Triple Crown, that was actually not a great night for Jett either. It was kind of comedic to an extent because, we're actually, this photo right here. It's like, it was comedic, he didn't have the best luck at A2. And it was crazy because that was one of those races where he was in position to actually take the points lead. But some of the mistakes that he made in that overall in that night caught up to him. And, he's not perfect. Absolutely not perfect. And, he rode off that track. You could see the disappointment in him as well. And I think that's what it is. The kid just wants to do good. He just wants to do good. And sometimes we see that as maybe he's just too passionate. I don't think so. I honestly believe Jett Lawrence's accolades speak for themselves. I don't see him as being cocky. I see him as being confident. I see him as being talented and skillful. Like, how often do we get to see the type of talent that we're seeing out of Jett Lawrence? His behavior is not super out of pocket at the end of the day. I think it's actually entertaining and funny. I think he's a show guy, right? Like, he puts on a great show. He has the skills to back it up. The whole Anderson debacle, the whole and this, like that kind of stuff it hypes the sport up and it keeps the sport kind of cool at the same time. And I believe people love to hate him because when he was coming up, it was great. And then he all of a sudden, dude, he murders that 450 Outdoor National season to the point where people are like, well, I'm just tired of Jett winning. I'm just tired of Jett winning. If Eli was out there, but he wasn't, Eli wasn't out there. But if Eli was out there, and now we've had the opportunity to see Eli out there with Jett. He's beat him, right? A couple times, but Jett's not been on game and Eli's nowhere near on game. So we've really not had the opportunity to see those two great riders actually be in a position where they're actually competing against one another at the highest form. In my opinion, just yet. There's more to come. We have a lot left in this season for supercross. We have a lot left for outdoor nationals. And then we have the playoffs for the SMX series. Like, there's so much more we get to see. Is Jett cocky? Nah, Nah, not in my opinion. He's entertaining the brakes off of us supercross and motocross fans, and he's giving us something to talk about. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be doing this video right now.